Sound check for the YouTube stream.
Good morning. Thank you for your patience. As you can see, we're having technical difficulties. My name is Anne McCauley. I'm the chair of the Scarborough Panel Committee of Adjustment. I'm joined by my fellow panel members, Mr. Reid, Mr. Cohn, Ms. Oman, and Mr. Stinson. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We have a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the... You can't hear me? I've got these... I have the microphone on. Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. So I was in the midst of the land. Oh, I've got an echo now? No. Okay. I was in the midst of the land acknowledgement. I will start it over again. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudna, Shawnee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We had also acknowledged that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Williams Treaty signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. This is right in my way. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid, in-person, and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also being streamed on Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you'll be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to follow this instruction. Receiving a copy of the decision of the committee. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision. to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some circumstances, to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and gently removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons, and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee Adjustments. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Excuse me for a minute. Hearing procedure. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Making your submissions. When an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation, if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for decision. Each speaker, including the applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you're reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to receive notice are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, will be invited to speak. Generally, we will call first on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant has the opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. That will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. In the morning session, before hearing the first item, can I have confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting?
I move that minutes as circulated of June 26, 2024 be approved.
Thank you. Moved by Mr. Hahn. Do I have a seconder?
Thank you, Chair. I'll second it.
You weren't available, sir.
My apologies.
Madam Chair, I'll second the motion.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Ms. Oman. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral?
Through the chair, we've received 3 requests for deferral for the morning session. The first item is item number 1, 537 Kennedy Road. Deferral sine die due to improper notice. The sign was not posted.
Thank you. Is the applicant in the audience or online?
Through the chair, before you proceed to that, you should run through any conflict before we start the.
Okay, I noticed I had missed that. I will.
We should do that before we even consider any items.
Okay. Sorry, I missed a section. Are there any declarations of interest of the panel or staff for items on the morning agenda?
Through the chair, there are none from staff.
And I see none from the panel members. Okay. All right, we'll go back to deferral items. Again, Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, you were saying that item number 1, 537 Kennedy Road is a request for deferral?
Through the chair, it's a request due to improper notice. the sign was not posted on the property within the, within the Planning Act requirements.
Okay. So in this case, the deferral is because the notice was improperly provided. I don't think we need the applicant to say anything, and
I believe there's a registered speaker, Madam Chair.
Through the chair, the applicant is
Hello,
online.
Madam.
okay.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of committee. Are you able to hear me? The video is now cutting in and out, and it seems to be frozen. I'm not sure if you're able to hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. We are having technical difficulties, so the video may not show as well, but we can hear perfectly, and you should be able to
Okay.
see the commitment. So this is a request for deferral.
Wonderful.
Are you,
Yes,
can I have your name, please?
yes, Madam Chair. I'll get to that right now. The name is Matthew Helfand. I am a lawyer at Airden Burles, address 181 Bay Street. I am lawyer for the applicant. We are here requesting a deferral today because the sign was not posted. It's unfortunate the sign was not posted. It was our intention to proceed today. However, we received the sign, the actual sign to be printed from staff on Thursday, July 11th at 3:40 p.m. and had to print it off and post it by Sunday. So it was about 2 days later. For whatever reason, the automatic email with the sign posting didn't go out, so we weren't able to get it done over the weekend. My client was out of town. So we are requesting that the deferral be granted, and we're going to be working with staff to try and get this back on the agenda as soon as possible. We apologize for the request for deferral on these grounds, but unfortunately, we have no choice.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for your explanation. Even with technology, we have problems at times. To the Deputy Secretary Treasurer, can we defer this sine die, or can we defer this to the next meeting?
Through the chair, it should be deferred sine die.
Okay. Yes?
Mr. Helfand, the planning report, a refusal report, if this deferral is granted, will you be addressing that also before you come back to committee?
Thank you. Yes, and through you, Madam Chair, we have been in touch with planning staff. We've reviewed the report. We're setting up a meeting to speak with them next week.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any motions for deferral.
Through the chair, there is a speaker registered.
Sorry, would you say it again, Ms.?
There is a speaker registered.
Yes. Is the speaker online? Okay. All right. Mr. Brown, we have a request for deferral because the requirements for notice were not given in time. Do you wish to speak to the deferral?
Yes, I do. Yes, David Brown, 535 Kennedy Road in Scarborough. Yeah, I believe that this is a frivolous deferral request and predictable. I also believe that all impacted persons in the community are aware of this matter. I think it's redundant. The impacted persons have seen the previous signage, and they've also posted submissions to the committee regarding this matter. I'd also like to express that no more deferrals be granted simply because the applicant refuses to post signage to take advantage. I think it shows bad faith to this committee. I think the committee should refuse this request for deferral and take possible steps to ensure compliance from the applicant.
Okay, thank you for your opinion, sir. Committee members, we've heard from a person who is suggesting that the deferral not be granted. I think we're in an awkward position. If we don't grant the deferral, that application can automatically be appealed, and I don't think that is in anyone's interest. So I think we're in the position that a deferral must be granted. The correct procedures were not followed, and that raises the issue of legally dealing with this application. So, do I have a motion?
If we're in committee, yes, Madam Chair, I would move a motion to defer the application. The postage of the sign is a requirement, so to your point, we have to defer this to follow procedures properly. So that's my motion, and also that, as the applicant or the agent stated, they will also address the community planning report during the time of the deferral.
Okay, that's a deferral sine die.
Yes.
Do I have a seconder?
Thank you, Chair. I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion to defer this application from Ms. Oman, seconded by Mr. Stinson. That deferral is recommended sine die. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Mr. Brown, for your comments. Do we have any other deferrals?
Through the chair, the second deferral for the morning session is item number 13, 46 Emmeline Crescent. Deferral sine die at the request of the applicant in order to address concerns identified by community planning.
Thank you. So this is item 13, 46 Emmeline Crescent. Is the applicant online?
Through the chair, we've been advised by Zim and Zhu that they are unable to attend the hearing today.
And do we have a written request for a deferral?
Yes.
Okay, so we can proceed with a deferral request without the applicant. Do I have a motion?
Thanks, Chair. I'm happy to move a deferral of this application so the applicant has time to work with community planning to address their concerns.
Thank you. I have a motion by Mr.
I'll second the motion, Madam Chair.
Okay. The motion, Mr. Reed, second by Ms. Oman. All those in favor for the deferral? Thank you. And that'll be a deferral sine die. Mr. Chairman.
Through the chair, the last deferral request for the morning session is item number 15, 11 Crescentwood Road. Deferral to the next meeting, August 22nd, at the request of the applicant in order to address concerns identified by community planning.
Okay. Is the applicant online?
Through the chair, we have Kathy Garrido speaking on behalf of Angela.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you give your name and address, please?
My name is Kathy Garrido. I'm from Sustained Design Architects.
And
We are the agent for the owner.
Okay, can I have your address, please? Simply for our records.
Our address
Your
is
address.
1724. Our address is 1724 Queen Street West,
Okay, thank you.
and the property is 11 Crescentwood.
Okay, and you are asking for a deferral, correct?
That's correct. We were
Okay.
notified by the planning department that they would like us to move the building on the site, and that will require changing quite a number of the variances, and hence the request for the deferral.
Okay, that's a good reason to request deferral, and I assume that would have to be a deferral sine die to give you the opportunity to meet with staff, no?
No, we don't need to meet with staff, but they wanted all of the variances updated and recirculated to the neighborhood because it will be different than what's on the notice that was sent out.
Okay,
So they've asked for us to August 22nd, which gives the opportunity to recirculate to all of the neighbors.
okay, thank you. Staff indicate that August 22nd, which is our next meeting, can have this item on it. So do I have a request for deferral?
Certainly, Madam Chair, I think that the request is reasonable and gives them a chance to make the changes that are necessary, and so I move approval of the deferral to the August 22nd meeting.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Mr.
Thank you, Chair. I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Oman, seconded by Mr. Reed, for a deferral to August 22nd. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Do I have any other deferrals?
Through the chair, there are none.
Thank you. All right, we will start then with item number 2, 171 Santa Monica Boulevard. Excuse me for a minute, I am having some difficulty pulling this item up. Here. Nope, I found it. Okay, this is an application for 171 Santa Monica Boulevard. The purpose of the application is to enclose the front porch stoop, and there is one variance required dealing with the front yard setback. Is the applicant online? Thank you, sir.
Madam Chair and committee members, yes.
Okay, can I have your name and address?
Sure, my name is Morteza Davari at 3080 Young Street, Suite 6060.
Thank you, sir. Do you wish to make a presentation, or do you wish to simply answer questions?
So if the committee prefers a detailed presentation, I would be more than happy to provide one.
I don't know about my colleagues, Madam Chair, but I don't require a presentation.
Either do
Okay.
I, Chair. Thank you.
The committee members don't require a presentation. It seems like it's a fairly straightforward application. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to the application at 171 Santa Monica Boulevard? Not seeing anyone? All right. Any questions of the applicant? No? Okay. All right, committee, we're now in committee. Any comments?
Okay, Madam Chair, I'll go ahead. I think that this is indeed a minor variance. It meets the 4 tests, and I would move approval of the application. There are no conditions.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion for approval from Ms. Oman, seconded by Mr. Khan. There are no conditions. All those in favor? That application is carried. Do I need to announce the names of the voting, or is it sufficient that the people can still see it on the YouTube?
There's no need for that.
Pardon?
You can't, but what I would suggest is when you announce the vote, indicate if it's unanimous, indicate that, and indicate if anybody's opposed, you indicate who is opposed.
Okay. All right, that application was approved. It was unanimous. And there's no conditions. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to item number 3, which is 807 Kennedy Road. Okay. Sorry about that. I am having difficulty with the computer. It's not. My computer is acting up. It's not identifying the division between the items, and that is causing me some time. However, we're at item number 3, 807 Kennedy Road. The application is for interior renovations to add 5 dwelling units to the existing 5-story building. Is the item 3, is the applicant online? He is? Okay, sir, would you please give your
Giorgio Frasca.
address?
Giorgio Frasca, 2781 Highway 7, Unit 201.
Right? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this item? Not seeing anyone. Sir, do you wish to make a presentation, or do you wish to simply answer questions from committee?
We are prepared to make a presentation if the committee would like to, or we can answer any questions that the committee might have.
Okay, let's see first whether the committee has any questions. Yes?
Chair, contingent on what the other members feel, I don't need a presentation, and I'm fine with no questions.
Okay. My committee members say they are fine. They have read the items in the agenda. They don't need a presentation. Is there anything that you would like to add, sir?
No, well, we're good.
Okay. We're trying to move through since we started late because of the technical difficulty, so I appreciate that. All right. Committee members, we're in committee. Any questions? Do I have a motion?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. I'd like to put forth a motion that we approve this.
Okay, I have a motion for approval.
Madam Chair, I'll second the motion.
Through the chair,
There
it's
are
subject.
planning conditions that need to be added, Mr. Stinson. Can we add those to your motion?
Yes, of course, the community planning conditions must be followed.
Okay, so I'll support the motion. I believe it meets the 4 tests. I believe it's mostly interior renos, and yeah, again, so I'll second that motion.
Thank you. And what is the community planning is that they build in accordance with the plans and the building elevations. Apparently, there are 7 of them that they wish to ensure that what is being asked is what shows up in the building permit. Okay, so I have a motion for Mr. Stinson, seconded by Ms. Oman, with the condition of community planning. All those in favor? Thank you. That motion is carried. Sir, your application is approved.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, we're moving on to item number 4, 41 Chilchern Castle Drive. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this item? Sir, would you come down to the lectern, please? Are you the applicant, sir, or are you a neighbor?
I'm the next door neighbor.
Okay, so just take a seat while we hear from the applicant first.
I'm sorry?
Just take a seat right there, behind you.
Yeah, I have something to say.
Okay. We need to hear from the applicant first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then we will hear from you.
Thanks a lot.
So just right there, don't go back to your,
Okay.
there's a bench there that you can sit at, or you can stand.
That's what I thought.
This is an application for 41 Kilchurn Castle Drive in the Tam O'Shanter community. The purpose of the application is to construct a new two-story dwelling. There are 4 variances: lot area, coverage, building height, and an energized outlet. To the applicant, do you wish to make a presentation? Do we have the applicant online?
Through the chair, we have Gopala Krishnan.
Yeah. Good morning, Madam Chairman.
Okay, would you give your name
And the
and
members.
address first, please?
My name is Gopalakrishnan Kalaiswaran. The address is 131 Golden Avenue. That's my address.
Okay, all right.
Markham.
Markham, Ontario? Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead, sir. You have 5 minutes to make a presentation.
First of all, there are 4 variances on this application. The 4th one, we will be complying. We will be installing electrical charger within the garage, and we will be complying fully the item number 4. So my understanding is from the planning committee that there is no comments on any of my variants, any of those 3 variants. This is simply because can you hear me? I'm seeing some.
I can still hear you, yes. I think we've lost the visuals, but we're back again.
I would like to, I would like to do my presentation only after hearing it from the complainant, and also if there is any question.
Okay, sir. As you know, we'll listen to the neighbor, and then you have 5 minutes to comment after his presentation.
Madam Chair, could you just ask the applicant to formally delete variance number 4, if that's what he's doing?
Okay,
Because we would be voting on an amended, because he just mentioned he's going to comply, which means he has to formally delete variance number 4.
all right, I assume that he had requested deletion of variance number 4. Okay, sir, we need your formal statement.
I will do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I will delete the item number 4.
Okay, item 4 is now deleted. We have 3 variances. Item 4 was the energized outlet, so that is deleted. Yes, sir? Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. Sir, my question is very simple. You have 4 variances. Variance number 1, FSI 0.70 lot area. Variance number 2, lot coverage 40.30. These are a little bit high. Could you kindly justify that? How should I understand that this is minor?
So your question is the lot coverage as well as the floor space index? Okay. To the applicant, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah. Actually, the proposal is to sort of demolish the existing house and building a new one. The owner bought this house about 15 years ago, and he didn't have children and at the time. And then right now he has 3 children and all grown up, and they need some additional space, additional living space, bedrooms and washrooms, and also everybody right now work from home. Even he's a self-employed. His wife is helping him, and they are operating their business from home. And kids are mostly from home and doing most of their works. And one of the elder one is also working outside, and he's also working from home. So he needs more spaces. And also the city of Toronto's housing policy is encouraging the infill housing and allow the multi-generational living with the potential for some sort of providing more residential units in a single family dwelling, right? And if you take into consider all these matters, what will happen is that 33% of the coverage cannot be achieved by accommodating the increased need from the owner, as well as the city's policy of encouraging for infill housing, and also is allowing for, at this point in time, I heard 4 units. And even if you take, if you look at my house design, if you take the garage portion out, the rest of the portion will be 33.3%, because the garage is a service space, right? But though that is to be considered for the bylaw, that is why it comes to that 40%. That is why we are going through the variance. Secondly, the gross floor area limitation. That also comes from this actually carried out this 40% and 50% of the lot area comes from the old bylaw. So all these cities changes, the current change, that doesn't comply with this 50% of the lot area. That is why we have both the coverage as well as the GFA increase, simply because we cannot comply with. And in terms of building height, that because if you are to consider the basement as a part of a dwelling in future, you need some sort of a windows to go. In order to have window, at least you have to have 3 feet above the ground. 0.9 meter above the ground. That is the height that increases the roof height. So therefore, I consider this is, we are also complying all the side yard setback, rear yard setback, front yard setback. Even the other side of the neighbor will agree with this kind of proposal. So only 39, which has the setback requirement satisfied. When we meet the 39 owner, he told that we are too close to the property line, but we are not actually. We are complying with the city's zoning bylaw, which is a 4 feet setback. Therefore, I consider this is very minor, considering the current change in policy of city's policy of housing, as well as the increased need of the lifestyle change of the owner. And particularly if you have any question, then I could answer that.
Okay, thank you, sir. No further questions. To the resident, Mr. Beatty?
Yes.
Would you come to the microphone? You have 5 minutes.
Thanks very much. I hope this mic's a good one. I hope you can hear me clearly. My name is Alan Beatty. and I live next door to 41 Kilchurn Castle Drive. I have lived there since 1972. The owners of this property are planning to remove the current house and build a new one in its place. Living next door, I have had a number of concerns regarding the potential new house being built. I believe that since this property is the smallest property on our street, 50 feet by 110, it is not the ideal location to place such a large house and would exceed the current bylaw, 569-20013, in three ways described in the file number A0098/24SC. The current floor space maximum is 0.5 times the lot area. This building would be 0.7 times if the variance is approved. The current maximum lot coverage is 33% of the lot area and would need to be 40.3% if the variance is approved. The maximum current building height is 9 meters. This would once again be exceeded to 9.76 meters if the variance is approved. Currently, the current house is much lower than the maximum allowed right now. I believe that the current bylaws should be used as a basis for any new structure being built at 41 Kilchurn Castle Drive. I'm especially concerned about the height of the proposed house that would be approximately 6 feet higher than the current dwelling. Visually, this would dramatically change the appearance of the house compared to the norm on the street that is approximately 26 feet, not the 32 feet proposed. If this lot, the smallest on the street, has the variances approved, I feel that the neighborhood I have lived in for 52 years will be dramatically altered and a perfectly good house will be leveled in order to build a much larger home, in this case on a very small lot. The granting of these variances would set a standard for future demolition of perfectly good homes in our neighborhood. This, I believe, is very important. I do not feel the first three variances are minor, as it is described in your letter to us, the neighbors. I have specific concerns that the new house will be much closer to the lot lines on both 39 and 43 Kilchurn Castle, and I worry that by allowing the 40-foot wide house, where currently sits the 37-foot wide house, would not allow for easy access to the backyard once it has been built. Also, the proposed depth of the house, approximately 55 feet, would move the front of the proposed house to approximately the front of the current garage space in the front and approximately 8 feet further back in the current dwelling. A house this size should be placed, I feel, on a much larger lot, so the current bylaw number 569.2013, without the need for variances, could be followed, using the current limits to allow such a large house to be built on a larger lot. I thank you for hearing my concerns, and I am pleased to have been able to attend today and listen to what I have to say. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Yes, just stay there for a minute.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, my question to Mr. Beatty is, sir, when I see the variances and also the lot, it's not the smallest as you say. There is one of the smallest. I think it is one of the same in the neighborhood. And I don't think these variances will cause any less property values as you claim. But at the same time, I have listened to you and I have put the question about and heard him about the variance number 1 FSI.
I'm having trouble hearing. I'm really having trouble hearing.
It will be a counterproductive variance as he claims.
Is that a question?
I really didn't understand, but okay.
It was a comment, sir.
You gave it as a comment, it is not a question. Sorry, Mr. Khan made that as a comment. He did not have a question.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay. Committee members, any questions? Okay, committee members, any All right. No further questions. We're in committee. Any comments, committee members?
Chair, I think we should go back to the applicant for a rebuttal.
Thank you.
Thanks.
First of all, the complaint came from the neighbor. We had a discussion with all the neighbors around this neighborhood, and we have about 5 letters that they have no objection, and that I posted on the website. Secondly, that immediately the next neighbor, which is 43, they also supported this application and had signed that letter too. And whoever, there are other neighbors behind this house also had signed this paper. There is 2 neighbors. And by looking at the concern that 43 has, is first of all, the front yard setback is not as what as he is mentioning. It is further back from the existing house. Because if you can see, there's a dotted line shown in existing house, and the proposed new house is further back from the garage where it is situated. So it is not projecting out anything. In his house, garage is even further back from any of those plan that shows, any of the lines that shows there. And he also mentioned about the building depth, which is 55 feet, which is within the zoning bylaw. We don't have any variance for that. And he's also suggesting that this house has to be further from his house, but the setback of 4 feet, which is the required zoning bylaw. I'm not violating anything as far as the setback is concerned, and we are even making it in further enhancing it, bringing it back to the towards the rear side of the house, moving away from the front street, and also in terms of coverage, if you really look into taking out the garage space out, which comes to 33.3%, which I have already mentioned on that. So coverage, and this coverage, and even on any of these new developments, that the gross floor area restriction, you won't find that very much on the new developments. But here we have, simply because this came from the old bylaw. And because of the footing, that the ground building footing, that's what we get that the percentage. And actually, if you really look at it, the building height, I would have made some flat roof and can confirm with that. But if you go around the neighborhood and see, they have this kind of different levels of roof and all complete full gable and capped roof combination. I wanted to be in conformance with the other rest of the neighborhood. So I play around with that. If you really see that the exceeded portion of the height is only in the middle portion, probably around 20 to 30 percentage of the roof area that exceed this 0.76 meter. And also, naturally, if you raise the basement, now basements are becoming living spaces. So if you raise the basement, naturally that tends to go up to the height, right? Because in order to have windows, at least you have to have 0.9 meter. That is what we have proposed here. So if you take that 0.9 meter out, then we still have within that 9 meter, which is permitted to the bylaw. So I can only think of the bylaw here. And most of these people who we went around and talked to have no objection, and except some people don't want to sign papers. Some people said we have no objection, and we got almost like 5 written letters from neighbors, including the immediate next neighbors, 3 people. Signed and gave it to the
you have 30 seconds. Can you wrap it up, please?
So therefore, I consider this, with the changing of the lifestyle and the new housing policy from the City of Toronto, I think intensification is one of their big forward move, and I'm intensifying it in this lot. And the rest of the things is in compliance with the zoning bylaw. Therefore, I consider this is very minor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I noticed that Urban Forestry has commented. Have you seen their comments, and are you in agreement?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with forestries.
Okay.
We will comply with. We have already submitted the arborist report too.
Okay, thank you. All right, committee members. No question, no further questions? Oh, okay. Any comments? We're now in committee.
Thank you, Chair. I have some comments. I appreciate that we heard from Mr. Beatty, and I appreciate we heard from the applicant. I noticed that this area is an area that has quite a great geographical impact with respect to spaces around the homes, and that some of the homes are much larger than others. I noticed that the one the applicant is applying for a variance is smaller in size, but the lot is reasonably sized. I noticed also that the variances requested are within my spectrum of minor, and I feel that at this point, for me, I would be approving the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I will just add to Mr. Stinson's comments that there are no side yard setbacks, no depth length variances, and I understand that it's a change to the neighborhood. It does fit within the policies. The city, wants more intensification, and we're seeing this all over the city. We're looking at 3 variances, and as the applicant said, with the garage not counted in the floor space index, it is pretty close to what's permitted in addition to the height. And finally, I'll say that it does have a design aspect where there was some care taken to fit it within the character of the neighborhood rather than having the modern design sort of, plunked in there. So for those reasons, I would be supporting the application also.
Okay. Any other comments? No. All right. Do I have a motion?
Thank you, Chair. I would move that this committee approves the application, subject, of course, to the conditions with respect to the urban forestry.
Okay. Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion, Madam.
Okay, I have a
And that's as amended with the deletion of.
Thank you.
4.
I have a motion for approval for this application for 41 Kilchurn Castle Drive as amended, subject to urban forestry requirements from Mr. Stinson, and that was seconded by?
Ms. Oman.
Seconded by Ms. Ullman. All those in favor? Thank you. That motion is carried. Thank you, sir, and thank you to the gentleman who showed up.
And I'd like to thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak. I really wanted to be a good neighbor to my neighbor. I did not want to put together, I just wanted to make sure that the plan, the future plan for our neighborhood is going to, this will change. The neighborhood will change, and I fully understand that that's going to happen.
Okay, thank you.
And I appreciate the fact that I didn't want to be a bad neighbor and say something negative. My neighbor, I get along with very well, and I enjoy his company.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your comments, sir. We need to move on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is item number 5, 23 Milliken Boulevard. I think it's Unit 35. Is the applicant online? Number 23 Milliken Boulevard, number 5. Oh, okay. Do you want to come down to the front? Okay. This is an application to permit Unit 18 to be permitted for a retail use. I think it must be B5. Maybe you could clarify which unit it is. It is B5?
B5.
Okay. And the legal description is Unit 35? Oh. We have a property address, 23 Milliken Boulevard, B5, and then we have a legal description which identifies it as Unit 35.
Probably by the lot, yes.
Okay. So one and the same, though?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is an application to permit a retail use in a heavy industrial zone. Do you wish to comment?
I don't have much comment, except that everywhere around the same plaza, everybody already have a retail section. And I think it served so well during this COVID time that every single business strive to make the monthly incomes, and that was very helpful. And because of the old bylaw, this new owner who took, this tenant who took over this business does not comply to the new bylaws, and we wish to make it into retail, to add a small portion in the front of the store.
Okay. Any comments? There is a comment from community planning that do you build in accordance with the plans submitted? And I guess that's for the addition.
Yes, we already complied to that condition to keep it as what we have sent through to the committee, the floor plan as it was drawn.
Okay. All right. Any questions, committee members? Mr. Vincent?
Thanks, Chair.
Reed,
yeah, that's okay. I just want to confirm that the retail function is associated with the industrial use.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Mr. Khan?
How many units or the entire building will be used for retail or this particular one?
Can you repeat your question?
Question, and I'm not sure that you know the answer. He's asking how many retail units are there in that development?
I do not have a full count, but within that front where we are, there's already at least 1, 2, 3 side by side already. And then it's a whole entire plaza inside. So I would say a guessing of at least over 100 units in that whole plaza at 23 Milliken.
Could you kindly repeat slowly again?
Okay, so number 23 Milliken is a whole plaza. In our unit B5, on the same facade, there's at least already 3 occupying a retail space with their manufacturing business. So within that whole 23 Milliken, there's at least, just a guesstimate, over 100 units already operating as manufacturing and opening a small little retail store at the front, serving customers.
Thank you.
All right. Any further questions, committee? Okay. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone. What is the wish of committee?
Thank you, Chair. If possible, I'd like to give my comments to our committee and the public. I think this is the right application at the right time for the right reasons. I think that there is some recommendations by community planning, and I think it fits with the 4-test rule. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? No further comments. Ready for a motion? Mr. Stinson?
Okay, Madam Chair, I'll move approval of the application. It meets the 4-test, and I think it's a good application. It's a good fit within that area, including the planning condition.
Okay. I have a motion from, not doing well. I have a motion from Ms. Ullman. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Mr. Reed. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Your
so much.
application is approved. Moving on to number 6, which is 67 Pentworth Crescent. The purpose is to construct a rear yard sunroom and deck. Number 6. Is the applicant in the audience? No? Is the applicant online?
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Syed Ahmed, 12 McCulloch Crescent in Ajax.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
This is an application for a rear yard sunroom and deck. We have a comment from Metrolinx that there be a warning clause, and we do have one letter of objection. Do you wish to make a presentation, sir?
Not really. I think the application we have is 3 minor variances, which include the maximum building depth is requirements 19 meters, and we are proposing 19.17. And the second variance is building length. The requirement by law is 17 meters, and we are proposing 18.23 meters. And the third variance is about the rear setback. By zoning law, 8.55 meters, and we are proposing 8.19 meters. And the presentation, what we're doing here is a very minor for all these three, and it's not going to affect the neighbors or any other effects on the construction of our sunroom. So I appreciate if you can get our application approved today. That's what we are looking for.
Okay. Mr. Stinson.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, sir. Subject to the other committee members here, this strikes me as a very straightforward application. I have no concerns about it, but again, I refer back to my other committee members, but I do not need a presentation.
Any other comments from committee members? No. Okay, do I have a motion? Mr. Khan?
We have 3 variances in front of us, minor in nature. I move this application be approved.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Thank you, Chair. I'll give you a second.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Mr. Stinson. All those in favor? Thank you. And I see we have a Metrolinx notice. That is simply for your information, sir. Thank you very much. Your application has been approved. Okay. Moving to item 7, which is 3441 to 3595 Lawrence Avenue East. Are you the applicant, sir?
Oh, sorry.
I need better glasses.
Hi, I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Shaliza Rajan, from Bousfield, 3 Church Street in the city of Toronto.
All right. And is there a second person?
Yes, my name is Ryan Sankar. I'm a transportation consultant that's retained by the applicant. My address is 812 Salmon Avenue in East York. I'm here to answer any technical questions regarding the parking rationale.
Okay, thank you. And this is an application for 3441 to 3595 Lawrence Avenue East, which I know as Cedar Brae Mall. And the application is for a parking, to reduce the required number of parking spaces to give you some flexibility. Okay. Committee members, do you wish a presentation?
I don't need a presentation, Madam Chair. I've read all the materials.
No. Okay. I don't think a presentation is needed. We have no questions. Do I have a motion?
I'm happy to move a motion to approve the application. I think it's reasonable, and it is a reduction in parking, but the area can sustain it. And so that's my motion to approve it, and there are no conditions.
Thank you.
I'll second that, Chair.
Okay, I have a motion for approval from Ms. Oman, seconded by Mr. Reed. All those in favor? There are no conditions, and we didn't need a presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Through the chair, can you please indicate if it was approved unanimously?
Unanimously?
Carried?
Okay, the application was approved unanimously. Okay, moving on to item 8, North Edgeley Avenue. Are you the applicant, sir?
Yes, I am the
Okay.
app.
Let me just introduce the item and then it's an application for 71 North Edgeley Avenue. It's to construct a single-story addition in the rear yard to the existing single-story detached dwelling. And it's an increase in coverage, increase in building length, and increase in building depth. Okay. Sir, would you give your name again, please, and you may make a presentation.
Yes, I'm Richard Wrigley of Residential Drafting Services at 69 Harris Park Drive. And first, I would like to address the comments of community planning and clarify that this will not be a rooming house. In fact, a major point of the addition is to give the homeowners a nice, usable basement whilst providing a basement secondary suite only in the addition. And the reason for the coverage, length, and depth variances is that the homeowner would prefer a comfortable one-story dwelling in which they don't have to traverse a lot of stairs just to get from a new home office, let's say, to their bedroom. Other than that, I'm open to any further questions.
I had some questions on this one. Why is the entire addition a complete new house in the backyard?
It isn't a complete new house. In fact, it's, as you can see, bedrooms 1, 2, and 3 they're basically moving their current bedrooms back there so that they can provide the space to, let's say, reorganize into having a breakfast room in the front, have a proper dining room that's separate, have a home office, and even a guest bedroom in the existing house. In fact, the side door entry stairs, we don't even need to have those anymore.
So this addition will be all part of the same building?
That's
or
correct.
is it two separate? It looks to me to be two separate buildings with separate entrances.
It's all part of the same dwelling, as you can see on page 3 of 8. You can see that there's 3 stairs just to get up from the existing portion of the dwelling into the addition. The page before that one. Yeah.
Okay, I have no further questions. Mr. Stinson.
Thank you, Chair. Sir, would it be fair to say that on this street, it's a street of transition with a lot of different development at the different other homes beside the one you're asking about or asking for this adjustment?
Yes, that would be fair.
Thank you. I just want to put that on the record because when I've been looking at different aspects to the land in this area, there's a lot of different homes and sizes. Thank you.
Any other comments? Any further questions? Okay. All right, we're now in committee. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, madam. It's a comment and I would like to have the information that although staff has recommended approval, but at the same time they are asking multi-tenant rooming, you have to have a license.
Yes, I'm clarifying that it is not going to be a multi-tenant rooming house and that the secondary suite will only be under the addition and the existing basement will be the usable basement for the homeowner.
Thank you.
Okay. There is a condition from community planning that if approved, the owner shall build substantially in accordance with the proposed site plan drawing. Do you have any problem with that?
No.
Okay. All right. Committee, where are we?
Mr. Reed. Thanks, Chair. I'm happy to bring a motion for approval. I think that this is a good application, and the variances that are being requested are minor. I think they're very small, and the impact of them is lessened by the fact that this is a one-story addition in the back. And I think that adding a secondary suite is a positive for the neighborhood. For those reasons, I move approval, subject to community planning condition.
I will second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion for approval from Mr. Reed, seconded by Mr. Khan, subject to community planning conditions. All those in favor? All those opposed? I will oppose this application. I have a problem with the overall length of the building, but your application has been approved.
Thank you very much.
So that application's been approved. Moving on to item number 9. Item number 9 is on our second agenda package. I'm just pulling that up now. Item number 9 is 266B Kennedy Road. The purpose of the application is to permit a new 2-story detached dwelling. And the variance is for building height. I understand there was 4 buildings, but only one of them is the request for a change in building height. Is the applicant online? Thank you.
Good morning, committee. It's Peter Druzik from Arc Design Group.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Community planning is recommending deferral. Have you addressed this item, sir?
Yes, we have. The issue was these houses are already built. We're bringing a site condition that had to be brought into compliance. And there was one issue in terms of the datum number on the established grade in error. I believe in speaking with the Committee of Adjustment staff, they would have updated you with the revised elevations. All the variances are correct in terms of the height we required. It was just an error in one of the datum numbers that the planning department was questioning. But from the waivers and from the submission, we are 0.26 higher. This has been confirmed with building department, and we surveyed the built roof height, and this is what we need to request to bring it into compliance for what was built on site. So the house was built 0.26 meters higher than should have been. We're trying to bring this into compliance as an as-built situation.
Okay, thank you. I see also you've got a front exterior wall height that also needed an adjustment. The variances.
Correct. That was part of the height issues.
Okay.
Yes, that was part of the height issues.
Okay, good. All right, any questions of the applicant? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I would like to know whether it is a link house.
Whether it's a,
If it's a link house,
Is it a link house?
Link.
is the
no,
house attached or?
the original site plan has 4 houses on it. These last 2 houses, because of a grading issue, have to come to committee of adjustment. Unfortunately, they couldn't bring both of them at the same time. So 266A is going to be on the agenda next month. So the 2 on this site plan, the 2 on the south, this one and the one south of that one, which will be on next month's agenda, had a grading issue, which when the established grade was recalculated, is 0.26 higher. These houses are already built. All 4 houses are individual houses, single detached dwellings.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Stinson?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Peter. I just want to point out to the committee, too, the photos in the package that we've got give great examples because it's actually, as Peter said, they're built, they're there, and you can see the separation of the 2.
Okay. Any other further comments? Okay, any further questions? All right, we're now in committee. What's the wish of committee?
Madam Chair, I would support the variances. They, to me, are minor, and I will take the agent at his word that this has all been sorted out with planning. I also note there are conditions of approval for Metrolinks, so I would move approval of the application with the Metrolinks conditions only, not the planning report, based
Okay.
on what I've heard, that everything was sorted out already.
Okay, I have a motion for approval. Ms. Oman, seconded by,
I'm happy to second.
okay, seconded by Mr. Reed. All those in favor? And that's subject only to the Metrolinks condition. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
We have no one left in the audience. Okay. Committee, would you mind if we took a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll take a 5-minute break. Okay, we've had our break, thank you. We're proceeding with application number 10, which is 7 Landry Avenue. Is the, item 10, is the applicant online? Yes, okay. Purpose of this application is to construct a 2-story dwelling, and there's a number of variances, 12 of them, but some of them are dealing with landscaping and platforms. So they tend to make it seem as further. So 7 Landry, purpose is to construct a new 2-story dwelling. Is the applicant online? And would you
Good morning.
identify yourself, please, with your name and address?
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Nushra Jahan. I'm speaking on behalf of the architect consultant of this property, Aramark Designers. Address is 3400 Danforth Avenue, Scarborough, Ontario M1L1E1.
Okay. Do you wish to make a presentation or simply answer questions?
Madam Chair, we do not have any presentation at this moment. We would love to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions to the applicant? I noticed that we've got, as I said, you've got 12 variances, which is a fairly high number. And I think my concern is probably the front yard landscaping issue. If you could address that, please.
Madam Chair, I do not have any comment for the landscaping at this moment. The architect consultant was supposed to attend this meeting. I do not have any knowledge about this at this moment, but I believe we would accept any decision from the committee.
Okay. Any comments from Mr. Khan?
Thank you, madam. Through you, I would ask about variance number 2 and number 4. These variance number 2 exceeds the maximum limit, and variance number 4 is 3-story, number 5 is length. So these are not minor in my view. So I would ask, is there any such building in this neighborhood of this description?
As far as my knowledge is there are other developments going on nearby. And the only comment I can present at this moment is that the house owner has a big family. He has 4 kids, parents, grandparents, the extended family who would be living with the owner. So that's why the purpose was the big house.
Yes, Mr. Khan?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, can you tell me the house at number 9, which is right beside you, what you're proposing, is it going to be similar in depth and massing as that house?
So as I have mentioned that I'm speaking on behalf of the architect who was supposed to be present today, I do not have any comment.
Okay, so basically you're not able to answer any of the questions that we have pertaining to the application, I guess. Because if I'm looking at the house next door, it has minimal landscaping. I was going to ask you how you could possibly improve on your landscaping, but I suspect you're not able to answer that question either.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay. To the applicant, since the speaker is not, or the architect is not available, and you're unable to answer our questions, would you like to defer this application so that you can bring it back when the applicant can answer the questions?
I believe that's the only option we have left at this moment. So we would defer. Does that means that we would get a later date with the committee advertisement?
Yes, can I speak to the staff for a minute? Is it possible to defer this application?
Madam Chair, if I could put forward another suggestion. If the person speaking now is able to get the architect this afternoon, we could hold it down until this afternoon. So perhaps you could check if she's able to get the architect, and then we don't have another deferral to deal with.
So what happened is that the architect is at this moment in a country where the internet is shut down countrywide because of some government and student politics issues. I don't believe we would be able to reach him today.
Okay.
Okay, that was an option, yes?
Through the chair, given the uncertainty of when the applicant is going to be returning, my suggestion would be, if the applicant is okay with this, defer it sine die, and then when they are available, they can advise staff to reschedule.
Okay, to the applicant, the proposal is, because you're having difficulty answering the questions, and I don't think we want to refuse the application because we don't understand or haven't heard an explanation, that your application be deferred sine die. That sine die means that you would inform the community planning as to when the applicant is available to come back to the meeting. We would have to have a new notice and a meeting at a later date. Is that satisfactory to you?
Yes, Madam Chair, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I have a motion for deferral.
Yes, Madam Chair, I would move deferral of the application, and I would also ask that some thought be given to improving the front yard landscaping if possible before they come back. So perhaps the person speaking could pass that on to the architect before they come back. So my motion is to, to grant a deferral.
Okay, your motion is for a deferral.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a seconder? Mr. Stinson? Or Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Chair. I'll second the motion.
Okay. The motion is to defer the application for 7 Laundry Avenue. That will be a deferral sine die. All those in support? That application is deferred. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next application is 8 Lockheed Avenue. This is an application to reduce the front yard landscaping, to increase the driveway width, and to increase the vehicle entrance width through the front main wall. It's for 8 Lockheed Avenue. Is the applicant in the audience? No, there's no one in the audience. Is the applicant online?
Through the chair, we have Abhishek Rajgor speaking on behalf of Harjinder Singh.
Okay.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. This is Abhishek from MEM Engineering, representing the owners for this application at 8 Lockheed Avenue. And as you can see, we are asking for the variances that are restricted to the increase in the driveway width to suffice the entrances for the car garage that for the approved new dwelling already. And because of the width of the driveway increased, it's leading to a reduction in the landscaped area. Um, and so that all of these are intertwined with each other, leading to the three variances that we are requesting.
Okay, sir. I see that Urban Forestry has recommended that the application be denied for the driveway width due to the location of a city tree that they would like to have preserved. Have you had any discussion with Urban Forestry?
Um, yes, Madam Chair. So we, as the applicant, were not directly doing the application to remove this tree. It was the owners who applied in March, and as per the owners, the Urban Forestry had sent them the acceptance request, and a fee payment was also made back in March. But after that, there was no response from the Urban Forestry regarding that particular tree that they were asking to be removed. And the arborist report also highlights that the subject tree, I'm not too sure if the arborist report was provided to the committee, but the arborist report mentions that this particular tree exhibits poor structural condition and evidenced by a significant cavity present on the south side of the main stem. And given this deficiency, the tree poses a potential hazard and is deemed unsustainable for the continued maintenance. So this was one of the reasons why they were trying to um, uh, talked to the urban forestry, but they had no response. This is what we have learned from the owners. And then when we submitted this application for widening the driveway, we received a response saying that there is an objection to from removal of this tree.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the committee? Yes, Mr. Stinson.
Thank you, Chair. Sir, are you saying that the tree is a hazard or unhealthy?
Yes, that has been demonstrated in the arborist report by Al Miley and Associates, and it was prepared in March. And this was also submitted to the Urban Forestry Department. And we have received the evidence from the owner of the fee receipt that was paid in that regard as well for a total of 1,859 dated March 2024 from Parks, Forestry and Recreation. So they are aware of this application, but there is no response on it at that regarding that particular application.
Okay. Committee, I believe if we approve this application, Urban Forestry still has the option to refuse the application to remove the tree. So what is the wish of committee?
Can I just ask one quick question?
ahead.
Is the proposed driveway going to be permeable pavers or asphalt?
So currently, we are proposing them to be asphalt, but the owner is also willing to have permeable pavers should there be a merit in this scenario where we understand that we are okay for the permeable pavers as well. That's what the owners have mentioned us. So yes, permeable pavers should be the answer.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Stinson?
Thank you, Chair. I have a comment. I understand, I believe clearly what's happening here. I'm concerned about Urban Forestry's objection with respect to the tree. I'm concerned that this is premised on the width of a driveway, not the structure. I'm not going to be, at this point, I'm not comfortable with approving the application, but I just wanted to put my views on the record. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. My question is about whether you have spoken to have you spoken your project to the neighbors?
I'm sorry,
Sir, my question is, did you had the opportunity to speak to the neighbors?
so we did not directly speak with the.
Thank you, sir.
members. However, we are aware. Sorry, can I respond?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have not spoken to the neighbors directly. However, we are aware that there are a couple of objections on this, especially got with regards to the tree, and and this is the owner's request is that because of the way the tree is and how the driveway is proposed in front of the garage, even if the tree were to remain, it would be difficult for them to maneuver around it and drive. So that is the request that they are asking for, and also it is important to note that this dwelling is already built with that size of the garage as well.
Sir,
So
I don't want
it
to
is crucial
interfere.
that
I don't want to interfere, but I just want to bring to your kind notice that we have received letters from your neighbor, um, immediate neighbors. So that concern, is also a legitimate concern, is a concern, and which you should have addressed before applying. But nonetheless, I'm a little bit paying attention to what number 6 has a problem. So therefore, you should address all these things before you apply. But nonetheless, if there is a clarification, you
sorry,
can.
sorry.
And also the agent
Yeah,
code,
we did go through.
village community association, they have also taken the side of their other people and extended their concern.
Okay. So, sorry, we have gone through those letters and it seems like all the letters are similar to each other. So it means that people were in contact with each other. And one of the item mentioned in the letter says that the owners have not applied it appears that no application has been made to the forestry department, which is not correct. The application was duly made back in March to go through the due process. However, since there was no response, and we were trying to go through and get the approval through the committee. But if the should the committee not see a merit in this, um, we will have an option to modify the driveway so that it tapers down towards the entrance and the tree can be preserved. That is our other request, that the committee can, on that basis, they can approve the driveway, because the landscape area extends, like the reduction in the landscape is only 3 square meters. So the driveway width and the entrance of the garage are not that big of a challenge. It's the tree that is the challenge, and this is where we leave for your
Thank you.
judgment and review.
Okay, so as I understand it, the front yard landscaping, a minimum of 60% needs to be landscaped. As you say, it's only a difference of 3 square meters. So are you willing to delete that requirement?
Yes. We will have to verify whether the requirement can be deleted, but right now what we agree is that we can taper the driveway when it comes to the property line, such a way that it stays away from the tree.
But, okay, but you don't know whether you still need the variance for
Variance.
the front
Yeah,
yard
that's why,
landscaping
yeah,
area.
if the committee is correct. But that's why, I mean, the variance for the landscape area can remain if the committee feels that.
Madam Chair, because I think we may be looking at different variances, perhaps it would be a good idea to defer this. And the other comment I would make, sir, is I think you referenced that you had an arborist report of your own. In the future, it might be good to submit it. I can't find it anywhere, or give us a covering letter that kind of explains what your arborists were saying versus forestry, but I think a deferral might be your best bet right now. Otherwise,
Okay.
right, if we approve or remove something, and then you have to start all over again, so you might as well make the modifications and then come back.
Okay,
All
so
right.
are you willing to defer this application? so that you can make the
Yes, Madam Chair.
modifications and determine exactly what can be done and to provide information from urban forestry.
Yes, Madam Chair, we would like to do that deferral. However, this is very important or rather interesting that should the committee even approve it in the next round, that even the tree can be removed, but the urban forestry still um, has the final decision whether that tree stays. Is that the case that we have understood so far?
Yes, urban forestry does have the final decision. We can defer this application sine die, and you may be able to get confirmation from urban forestry that they are willing to accept whatever you are proposing, rather than it be a condition that you get approval from urban forestry. Gives you that opportunity to talk to them about the tree, opportunity to look at your landscaping requirements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I
All right.
agree, Madam Chair.
Okay, good. So do I have a motion for deferral?
Yes, Madam Chair. So for all the reasons stated previously, I would move deferral of the application sine die.
Okay, have a seconder? Moved by Ms. Holman, seconded by Mr. Khan, that this application
Seconded by
be-
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that this application be deferred sine die. Sir, once you've got the information, would you go
Through
back
the
to?
chair, you need to do the vote.
All in favor thing.
Oh, sorry. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, sir, once you've got your information, you will need to go back to community planning and inform them that you wish to proceed with the same application or an amended application.
All right. Sounds good, Madam Chair.
Okay.
And thank you all committee members for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're moving on to item number 12, which is 58 South Woodrow Boulevard. Not sure that we really want to deal with this one, 2, 3, but this is an application to permit a parking space in the front yard.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you just give me a second here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We have item 12, 58 South Woodrow Boulevard. I have 3 people listed as the agent. Who is going to speak?
Actually, I'm going to speak. I'm on the line right now, Ashwik Chabra, and I'm from Studio 4 and designer for this project.
Okay. And are the other 2 agents going to speak?
Actually, no.
Okay. All right. So then you are going to be the representative. The application is to permit a parking space in the front yard. I have no other speakers on this item. Go ahead, sir.
So, Madam Chair, we have only one variance and we need to have a parking space for this house. Currently, we don't have a garage in this house. So if you want me to do a presentation or something, I can do that. But I don't have any comments regarding this application because it's very minor in nature.
I have written down here that the proposal is to convert the garage to storage. Is that what you're proposing here?
Yes, Madam Chair. Actually, we have water issues. So always the owner have issues like they have the rundown when it snows and all the water runs down towards the garage. So that's why he wanted to convert that space into storage and make it sealed properly so there is no water ingress inside his house.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, madam. I just want to seek information through you. Now, conditions require walk path from sidewalk to dwelling.
We can provide a walkway. We can do a permeable uh, part in the driveway and provide like a proper walkway to make sure like the resident can go, like the owner can access the house through the walkway, not to the through the driveway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So that answers your question.
Any other questions? Okay. What is the wish of committee? Gone?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to, there's only one variance in front of us. We've discussed it, and I'll make it that this application be approved.
Okay. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second, Chair.
Okay. Application to be approved by Mr. Khan, seconded by Mr. Reed. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much, sir. Your application has been approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. Thank you for your time.
Okay. The next application is 46 Emil. We have deferred that application, so we're now moving on to application 1473 Nielsen Avenue. The application for 73 Nielsen Avenue is to construct a rear yard deck. We've got some details of the level of the platform. And the permitted lot coverage is, requires a variance because the lot coverage includes the proposed rear deck, so that the coverage is 40.37% of the lot area versus 33%. See, is the applicant online? Thank you.
Yes.
Sir, would you give your name?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, everyone. My name is Imad
I
Samad.
need your
I'm
name
the
and
design
address.
designer of the prop. Yeah, Imad Samad, 21 Magpie Way, Whitby, Ontario.
Okay. My note is that the rear yard is, deck has already been constructed. And what we're looking at is, I guess, approval as though it was not constructed. Committee members, any questions? Any issues, committee members? Okay, do I have a motion? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Madam. We have two variances in front of us, minor in nature. So also staff letter is recommending approval with conditions. So I move this application be approved with conditions.
Okay, and that condition is that the deck be built in accordance with the
That's
site
right,
plan.
ma'am.
Okay, all right. Motion for approval for Mr. Khan, a seconder? Mr. Reed? Okay, I was looking that way. All those in favor of this application? That application has been approved, subject to the condition of a community planning. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Item 15, which is Crestwood Road, has been deferred. So we're moving on to item number 16. Item 16 is 3459 to 3471 Shepherd Avenue East. This is in the Tam O'Shanter community, and the application is to alter the development standards for the residential building that was approved in August of 2022. Is the applicant online? Thank you. To the applicant.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. There is a supplementary report with this application as well. Can you take us through a very quick summary of your application?
Certainly, Madam Chair. For the record, this is Jane McFarlane, Weston Consulting. My address is 268 Berkeley Street, Toronto. The application that's before you today is for 9 variances to the site-specific zoning bylaw, which was approved in May 2022 for this site. What has happened in the last 2 years is a different owner has purchased the property. We're taking the building development plans through site plan, and a number of items have come up which have necessitated some variances. In addition, there's been some changes with respect to the planning framework in the last 2.5 years. One being the new parking bylaw, which has lowered the required parking rates. The second key document is the revised mid-rise guidelines for mid-rise buildings fronting onto avenues. We've remained in quite close contact with the planning department and other staff departments on this application. We've met with planning about 3 or 4 times. There are some modifications that I have proposed before the committee. However, what the planning department did is instead of making those modifications to the variances, as I laid out in my report, planning staff have proposed those in conditions. I am completely fine with accepting those 5 conditions if the committee would see to approve the variances today. And that also does include a recommendation for refusal of variance number 8. I am okay to remove that variance from my list, or if committees should see fit to deny variance number 8 from the proposed variance list. The remainder of the staff report from planning is really to clarify the site-specific parameters. Really what we're seeking today is a slightly modified building with about 1,000 square meters of additional residential GFA. That would result in a building that is very much in line with the City of Toronto's revised mid-rise building performance standards. So yes, for the committee, what's being shown on the screen is the recommendations that the committee refuse variance 8. As I've already stated, I am acceptable to that and impose 5 conditions, which I've talked through at length with the planning department, and would be happy to accept those to be added to conditions of approval. And that includes additional payments to the city with respect to the additional GFA that we're seeking. It would be in and above what the applicant has previously paid for a Section 37 payment that came through with the site-specific zoning bylaw amendment in May of 2022. Without going into all the details, my planning report is there in front of committee, which outlines how the application meets the 4 tests. I won't go into all those details. However, I'm very happy to answer any questions and or elaborate on any of the planning matters should the committee require.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for bringing us up to date with the supplementary report and the conditions that the planning staff have put in, and to also for agreeing to the for the additional Section 45(9) agreement. I'm also going to say it's, in my opinion, it's nice to see that we've got a 12-story building as a new apartment building rather than apartment buildings that are 10, 20, 30, or 40 stories. So I noticed that your height is 12 stories, and that you are trying to follow the mid-rise buildings, I guess, rear transition performance standards. So I appreciate all of that. Thank you. Any comments from committee? Yes, Mr. Khan.
Through you, Madam Chair, I have a very serious concern about variance number 1, which is a lot coverage 75%, and variance number 2, GFA, which is quite a bit. And number 9 is really a concern, which is barrier-free close to the elevator is not provided.
Okay. To the applicant, do you want to expand on those variances? Expand your rationale?
Certainly. Through the chair, to address the Mr. Khan's comment on variance number 9, the proposed accessible spaces are very close to the elevators on both parking garages. In one instance, the accessible space is 1 or 2 away. On the other level, they're just right across the drive aisle to the elevator. The reason being is that there is a specific layout for the parking garage with beams and concrete posts that have to be in certain locations to hold up the structure. It was virtually impossible to accommodate for an additional width in a couple key spaces, which was why we could not locate the accessible spaces in the immediate proximity to the elevators. However, in the principle of locating these spaces as close to possible as the elevator that we can, we have done so. And we did make some revisions on this matter through the site plan to bring them closer, or as close as possible as we could. With respect to the GFA and the additional floor area, that's variance number 2, yes, we are proposing an increase for a residential GFA of just under 1,000 square meters and about 1,700 square meters for the entire building, compared to what the site-specific bylaw allows. This, however, would enable the building to be accommodate more GFA, but not more dwelling units. So we're making the units larger in order to accommodate for some larger family-oriented units and to provide more market competitive units in this area, in this portion of Scarborough. Again, the proposed building envelope is in line with the performance standards that apply to the rear buildings for deep lots. And so we have proposed to increase just the back of the building. As the chair cited, we're not going up or we're not going closer to the avenues than where the current permissions allow. And with respect to variance number 1, the lot coverage, it does look like a larger number. However, this is to expand the building at the back. We still have the required amount of landscape space. There's no variance needed for that. Site permeability, stormwater, drainage. However, we do need the additional coverage at the back, and this also does include some of the covered amenity areas that are in between the 2 wings of the building, which would be covered by overhangs from the building.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none? Yeah.
I just want to, are you going to delete the variance number 8? Or do you want us to refuse it, just so we know what we're voting on?
Through the chair, the applicant has already submitted in the supplementary agenda an amended application deleting that variance.
Okay, so then,
So it would be, if you, should the, so whatever decision should be as amended.
okay, great, thanks for confirming.
Okay. Thank you. All right. And again to the staff, the supplementary agenda has 5 items. Can we just approve those?
Well, just like you do with any others, if you support it, then it's subject to the community planning conditions. And you don't need to, approve the, like the refusal, because the applicant's already deleting it.
Okay, so we can approve the application as shown in the supplementary agenda?
Subject to the community planning conditions, less the, as amended. Right.
Okay, all right. Oh, okay, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a supplementary question through you to Madam Jane McFarlane. Madam, you have 241 apartments, right? Hello?
Yes, Mr.
And
McFarland, you have 241 dwelling units, that's your proposal? Can you confirm?
I believe so, yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, Madam Chair, then question arises from variance number 4 and 5 that you have 201 proposed parking spaces. So you are short of 40 parking spaces. How do you satisfy the residents who do not have the parking spaces? 40 is a big number.
Yes, through the chair, our variance number 4 and 5 are related to parking. The minimum residential parking spaces that we are proposing is 163, or the ratio as staff recommended that we apply for in the event that we eliminate units in the future, then we would not be held to a parking number, but to a parking ratio. At 241, both would maintain the same. With respect to more directly to the comment, yes, it is true. We are proposing some units to not have parking. This is, reflective of the current conditions in the City of Toronto and supportive of the direction that staff have clearly stated, whereby reliance on parking is to be reduced, and we're to support and promote developments which are more reliant on transit, especially with one that has a Metrolinx corridor, an LRT, along Shepherd into the immediate north of this site. So some units will be sold and or rented without parking.
Okay, any further questions? No? Okay. All right, committee, no further questions? No comments from committee? Okay, do I have a motion? Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I would move approval of the application as amended, and the community planning report, whatever's remaining that's not addressed by the amendments, or urban forestry. I think it's a good fit. There's transit, it's on a major corridor, so it's the right location for this type of development, and it meets the 4 tests.
Okay. Do I have a seconder?
Chair, I'll second the motion.
Okay. I have a motion for approval of the application as amended with the community planning report and conditions. Recommended approval by Ms. Owen.
Thank you very
Seconded
much,
by
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Stinson. All those in favor? The application is approved. It is approved unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the last application for this morning's session is number 17, 127 Euclid Avenue, and the application is to construct a new 2-story dwelling. The application is for floor space index, and wall height. Application number 17. Is the applicant online? Thank you. I'm never sure whether this is a man or a woman, so I'm going to try Madam. But
This is, Madam Chair, this is Nadeem Irfan, architect, 10 Midland Business Court, Suite 710, Scarborough, Ontario, M1B 3C6.
okay, Nadine, are you male? Should I be addressing you as Mr.?
Yes,
Irfan?
ma'am.
Okay, thank you. That's really what I was trying to get to. Okay, so it's an application for increase in floor space index and an increase in wall height. Do you wish to make a presentation, or do you wish to simply answer questions?
I would be happy to answer any questions. I just have a comment that the application is very comparable to numerous dwellings already built on the street, and including the immediate and right across with the higher FSI. Thank you.
Okay, all right, Mr. Stinson.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, sir, for your comment. I'm satisfied the package is very fulsome, and I'm not requiring a presentation, but that's me.
Okay, anyone else want a presentation?
No, I don't
Nope.
need it. It's
All
very
right.
straightforward.
We have no presentation, no further questions. Do I have a motion? Mr. Khan?
Thank you, madam. It's a very simple application, no staff recommendation though. Minor in nature, these variances. I move this application be approved with forestry conditions.
Okay, I have the approval from Mr. Khan,
second that,
seconded by Mr. Reed. All those in favor? Thank you. Sir, your application has been approved.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. That concludes the morning session. We will reconvene at 1:30.